Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together how to peace out even when the internet's not working right. Yes, that was my issue yesterday. But we figured it out. Anyway, I hope you're having a good morning. Hope you're having a great week. I hope you're having a great month, year, life, all of the above, because we serve a great God. There's no reason to not have a great life because we serve the God, the creator, the one who spoke and things came into existence, and we still see the fruit of that. When he spoke, full systems came into play. Right? It wasn't just a tree and it tried to figure out how we're going to have more trees, how is this all going to work. It's a whole system that just kept producing trees and kept producing flowers and kept producing people, keep producing animals, all these different things, right? That's why we can be confident in God. So this morning, now my mind's all over the place. And I want to go back to David first. Yesterday we talked about David and how he could have just walked away, right? He could have just said, I don't want to do a giant today. I can just go home and it's y'all's giant. I can go home. But he didn't. He walked out there and he told the giant, God will give you into my hand today. And you're going to die and I'm going to cut your head off. We're going to be victorious and y'all are going to be running, right? But he wasn't confident in his own strength. He didn't have any strength. He was a little guy, right? He wasn't confident in his own abilities. His confidence was in God. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because when our confidence is in God, we can have peace in every situation. It doesn't mean that difficult things won't come or hard things won't happen, bad things won't happen, or that we won't have dry times in our lives. But in the middle of those things, we can be confident that our God is with us. Let's look at the scripture in Isaiah 32. He says, my people will live in safety, quietly at home. They will be at rest, even though that means, right? Even though the forest will be destroyed and the city torn down, God will greatly bless his people. Wherever they plant seed, and bountiful crops will spring up. Their flocks and their herds will graze in green pastures. And the verse right before this says, and this righteousness, justice will rule in the wilderness, righteousness in the fertile field, and this righteousness will bring peace. Quietness and confidence will fill the land forever. And we can be sure that when we have God's peace, and we know that a battle comes. Most of us don't create our own battles. Well, sometimes our decisions do, and we didn't mean to, and sometimes we knew we were going to have a fight. No matter what the situation, we can go into it. We can face those giants with confidence, not in ourselves, but a confidence in God. Now, we do have to have confidence in ourselves so we can trust God in those situations. Sometimes it's not a lack of confidence in God as much as it's, can I really trust God? Can I really hear God? Can I really understand this word and make changes and adapt to this word? See, we're not supposed to read this word and make it adapt to us and our situations. We can apply it, but we should be reading his word and adapting us to it. So our confidence is in God. Our confidence is in his words, whether it's spoken or written. But our confidence is in him. Just like David went out there to Goliath, like we read yesterday, and he wasn't confident in his own skills. He was confident that God was going to give him that giant. And then he took those 5 stones and he took Goliath out. Maybe he wasn't confident in his shooting abilities. Maybe that's why he took 5 stones out there with him, right? I don't know that part, right? But he was confident that God was going to give him Goliath. And that's how he didn't mean he wasn't going to face Goliath. He didn't sit on the sidelines going, well, I know God's going to take that giant out. Let's just watch. He was confident that God was going to win that for him. That's how we address the giants in our lives. That's how we address the problems in our lives. That's how we address situations that present themselves. Because according to the scripture I just read, no matter if we're in the wilderness, no matter if we're in the dry season, no matter if we're in town, in the city, it says if the forest is destroyed or the city is torn down, we can still be confident in God. We'll go back to Rahab, the believer again, right? Their city was torn down, but in the midst of that, she and her family escaped because she had confidence in God. She says, we know that your God is going to win. So I want to be on your side. Everybody in Jericho could have said that, but only one person. One Rahab, the harlot. Rahab, I say, the believer, said, we know your God is God and he's going to defeat us. She had confidence in God, even though he wasn't her God at that moment. She made him her God. She said, I want to be on your side. I want to be on God's side. Because we have confidence that he's going to win, and I want to be on the winning side. Right? And so she knew that. So her confidence wasn't in her, even her ability to trust God. She just went, I know who's going to win, and I know who the real God is, and that's where I want to be. Right? That's our decisions every single day. We have to decide. We're going to have confidence that God's going to pull us through this. Maybe we're seeing things be torn down in our lives and we don't like it, right? Maybe we're seeing things being destroyed and we don't like it. Maybe we're seeing things, but we can still be confident that in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of the trial, in the middle of the terrible things we see, our God is still God. Our God is still on the throne. He's not sitting up there wringing his hands thinking, I forgot to plan past 2025. I don't know. I thought it was all going to be over with in 2024 or 2020. That pandemic, we were all going to die in 2020. I don't know. I thought they were all going to die. I don't know. No, he knows. He is confident, and we can be confident that in our today, he is with us. When we get to tomorrow, he has already walked through tomorrow and prepared that proverbial dry path in the Red Sea that we can walk across on dry ground. But they walked through the sea, you guys. Think about that a second. That had to have been a real kind of a surreal moment. God has rolled back the waters. The riverbed is dry, and it takes months for that to dry. You would not be able to walk on that forever, especially not that many people just continuously walking over it would have even made something a little bit muddy a whole lot worse, right? But they were walking on dry land, and the sea is rolled up on both sides. That would be so surreal to see that, to know it, to try to go to the other side. But their confidence wasn't in them. It was in God. They had to have their confidence in God. They didn't have the ability to hold the walls of water up. They didn't have the ability to make sure the bottom was dry so they could continue to walk. They just had the ability to trust God was going to get them through it. That was the main thing. They just had to have confidence to trust God. That's all the confidence you got to have. Not in yourself, not in being able to figure out a situation, not in your bank account, not even in your friends, not even in your family. Our confidence is in God. And so that's why we're sitting here, that in peace, quietness, and confidence, we're sitting in the land, so to speak. He says that confidence, peace, and quietness will fill his land. Well, we are God's land. We're made from dirt. We're just dirt, right? That he breathed his life into. And this fully functioning system had life and began to think and see and all these crazy things that we can't even fathom without God giving it to us, right? And yet this land that he created is full of his peace. We can have confidence. This land that he created has got that quiet power, because we know it's not us. We know that we don't have the answers. We know, or I do, I don't have all the answers, but I know the one who does, and that's where our confidence is. And I know I can find a scripture in here to hold on to when I'm facing something specific and something big, right? I can always find a scripture on peace. I can find a scripture on not having fear. I can find a scripture that fights back against the doubt. I can find a scripture that promises me that God will walk through this with me, that I'll never face it alone. There's always a scripture for it. Grab a scripture. Start making a notebook of scriptures. Pick a different scripture every day, or pick one every week. Somehow memorize them. Put them in your heart. David said, I hide your words in my heart so I don't sin against you. So hide his word. That's the way to hide his word, is read it, study it, meditate on it, write it down, memorize it, so you can carry it around, because he wrote his word. This is the new covenant, you guys. He would write his words not on tablets of stone, but on our hearts. He's written his word on our hearts. And so all we have to do is reach in there and reach in here and go, I need to find something that matches my heart and help my heart out, help my heart help my brain grab hold of what God has done for me, what he's doing for me, and how he's going to take me through this. And my confidence is in God. And that's going to be my confession and declaration today. My confidence is in God, and I will have his peace even in this situation, no matter what this situation looks like, right? God's got us, And that's why we can peace out in total confidence that he is the God who is with us and will be with us no matter what. That's why I'm going to have a great weekend. I hope you are too. Have a great day. You guys be blessed, and I'll see you Monday morning.